All right, let's take a look right now at, we're doing, of course, 10.1 and 10.2 as far as the quiz. This is very, very important, so take a look at it and see exactly what's going on. Let's deal with number one. It says make a stem and leaf plot of the data. We're sorry about the little smear as far as the data. When we were basically making a copy, we kind of moved it a little bit, but the other numbers are pretty good, so we're sorry about, at least the other topics are pretty good, I should say. So let's take a look at this. Number one, very, very simple. And we're going to go over it. Let's get, of course, my favorite pencil and go from. I love these pencils because you can't lose them. All right, number one. Let's take a look at it right now. And we are dealing with, we're going to set up our actual little plot for it, if you want to call it that. That's exactly what it is. And it is, of course, on one side, we're going to have the stem. And the other side, we're going to have the leaf. Okay. Now with the stem and leaf, we're starting out. Let's look at this. It says cans collected each month, which is, of course, number one. Let's take a look at this right here. That's number one. That's the one we're working on right now. We have, of course, 80, 90, 84, 92, 76, 83, 79, 59, 68, 55, 58, and 61. Now, how we do the actual stems is we start, of course, with the tens, of course. And as you can see right now, tens of what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So you get the idea as far as how the tens basically work. 90. So we're going to start out right now. So what is our lowest number over here? Our lowest number is what? Did anyone get? You got it. Number 5. So if our lowest number is number 5, we're going to put it in. That's the number we're going to start with. So it's going to be number 5, number 6, number 7, number. I think we go as also we go to number 8. Okay, and we go to number 9. So that represents the actual tens. So really, in all actuality, this is 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. You all get the hang of it? Great. So now what we're going to do is just put the leaf part on there, which is really the ones. What is the smallest number that you see in this actual list right here that we're looking at right now that says cans collected each month? If you said 55, you are totally correct. So we're going to put a 55 right there. What is next? 58. You are correct. So we're going to put 8 right here. And then the other one is a 9. Okay? So it represents 55, 58, and 59. Remember, this is the tens and this is the ones. Okay? The leaf is the one section. The stem is the actual 10 section. Now, let's go to 60. All right, what's the lowest that we have as far as the 60s? If someone said 61, you are correct. And then the next one, of course, is the 8, which is now 68. So let's go down now to the 70s, which is the 7 right here for the stem. The lowest for this one right here, if you said it, of course you are correct. It is a 6. After that is a 9. I think you all are getting the hang of it. Fantastic. Now we're going to the 80s. You may see the 8 right here because the stem represents what? The actual 10. So this 8 really means 80. So what is the actual lowest number that we have in the actual 80s? If someone said 80 itself, you are correct. And after that, you've got it. 84, 83. And then we have, of course, 84. Number 9, of course, which really is 90 because it's in the tens. And the lowest number that we have for that, you got it. If someone said, of course, 90, you got it. So we put a 0 right there. And what is the next one after that? I think you got it right. It's 92. And that is your answers as far as the stem and the leaf. The leaf for, of course, number 1. And good job on that one. You did a great job. And let's get on that. And we go from here. Okay, let's go to number 2 now. Number 2 is very, very similar. It's just this time we are dealing with what? Miles driven each day. But we're still going to set up, of course, the stem and the leaf, the same that we did, of course, for number 1. Let's get that little right there. We're going to get that out there. and set up our actual stem and leaf. All right, I'm a little crooked today, okay? That's all right. It gets better sometime. Okay, and leaf. So the same process as before. We're going to start with the number 0, of course. That represents there's really no tens for that, so you know everything is going to be single-digit numbers on the other side as far as the leaf side is concerned. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 5. Okay? And you know the reason why. Because we looked over on the actual chart. This is the chart that we're using. We're on number 2. Right here, I just put a line through it. You can see right here, miles driven each day. And the highest number that we have in this section is 50, it seems. So we're going to start with a single digit number because we see this actual 0 right here. The first single digit number that we basically have, and the only one, is 9. So that's a solid 9, okay? Because we have the 0 on this side, basically means it is not in the tens place. So that basically means everything here is single digits, okay? So after that, we have, of course, the actual tens. So we're going to start out that number right here. We're going to move through this because you all have the hang of it. It's very, very similar, almost identical. So we have 0, which is 10. We have the one right there, which is 11. Then we have the 2 right here, which would basically make it 12. You all get the hang of it right here. So we're going to put all the actual numbers that is represented in the tens place. Okay? So we're looking at 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 16 again. We're doing 16 twice, it seems. And we also have 8. Okay? Very, very important. I'm glad you all are looking at this. Now let's go to the 20s. Okay? What do we have here as far as in the 20s? If someone said, of course, if you said, of course, 0 standing representing 20, you are correct. And do we have another? We certainly do. That is correct. And what do we have from that one? Do we have a 21? I have right here 21, right here 21, and I do see a 21. So we have the one right there, and then we have, of course, the actual 8. There you go. So there we have 0, 0, which is 20, 20, 21, and 28. Okay, let's go down to number 3, of course, or the 30s. Do we have anything in the actual 30s? Of course we do. We have a 5, which gives us 35, and we have a 7, which gives us, of course, 37. All right, so now let's look at the 40s. Anything in the 40s? No. We do not put a 0 right here. Very, very important. Keep it the way that it is. All right, letting us know there is nothing in the actual 40s. Very, very important. All right, let's go to of course, the 50s, and we do have 50. So we put a 0 right here. And, hey, I see it. You all got it all right. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're on point. So all is well with number 2. Let's go, of course, to number 3. Good job. Good job. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Same process here, but this one we have a little difference with this, and this is could be somewhat tricky. We're going to go over this, and you will see, because this time we have 3-digit numbers, so we're getting into, of course, the hundreds, and that's very, very cool. So let's set up our actual plot right now for this. And what do we put on this? You got it. We put stem right here, and let's take a look. And we put leaf right here. And let's see what we got from there. Oops, accidentally hit that. Okay, so we know we are at number 3. That's the one we're working with right now. This one's a little different, but very, very similar. The only reason why it's different is because of the fact we're now in the hundreds place. So what are we going to do as far as being in the hundreds place? What is our actual lowest number for the actual 3s? If someone said we're in the 80s, you are correct. So we're going to put an 8 right here. We're going to put a 9 right here. We're going to put a 10 right here. We're going to put 11 right here, and we'll show you why we put 11 right here shortly. And we're going to put what? That 11 looks like a 16. I apologize. Now, is that a little better? Okay, that is an 11. And we're going to put a 12. And we're also going to do a 13. Fantastic. So we know now we're going to, of course, go through what we already know. No problem as far as that. What is the lowest numbers that we have in the actual 80s? Right here we're doing the ages of the tortoises. All right, so you see that actual 3 right there that we just put in, or we marked an underline under the 3, I should say. So we have a 3 right here, and that stands, of course, represents 83. So one is 83 years old, the other is 85, and the other is what? You got it, 86. So now let's go into the 90s. So we have a 92 and a 99. Ooh, these tortoises get old. That is really cool. All right, now I have a 10. What does that basically mean? You got it. If someone says that, of course, represents, of course, the first 2 digits of the 3 digits. Now we're getting into the hundreds. You are correct. So that would be 100 right there. So we do have one that is 100 years old. And after that, we also have one. We put in a 4 right here. If someone said that represents 104, you are correct. All right, now let's go to, get this, we're going to 11. All right, so we really know that's going to start out right with, of course, the first 2, the 100th and the 10s. Okay, so we have right now 100. This one right here, do we have one that is 100 and let's say 110? And we do have 110. And you see why? Because this is the 100th place right here. This is, of course, 100. This right here would be in the tens place, so it's 110, and this is, of course, in the ones. So this one right here, this tortoise is 110 years old. And we also have one that is 114 years old, if I am not mistaken. Let's see if we have one that's 114. And I could be mistaken. And I am. I apologize. It is not that one. It is. Let me get this one done. And I don't see 114 right there, but do I see 115? Yes, I do. So that is really, really cool. So we're going to put what? A 5 right here. We got a 5 right there. Now let's go down to, of course, the 120s, which starts on the stem side with a 1 and 2. That represents the first 2 digits, which is the 100 section, and of course the 10 section. And now do we have something that is 100? And let's see, 120. Was something in the 120s? We do. We have something that's 124. Way to get that going. 124. All right. And do we have another in the 120s? Yes, we do. We have another tortoise, 129 years old. How do we get that? We have the actual 1, the 2, and then the 9, which gives us 129 years old. Now, do we have something that's a tortoise that is 130 years or more? Oh my goodness, we certainly do. We have one that's 130. Good job, you all. Way to go. All right, let's go to number 4. Okay, let's get to number 4 and see exactly where we're at. Number 4. Number 4 is very, very similar, of course, to number 3, and we're going to get some things going as far as number 4 is concerned. All right, let's take a look at this right here. It says kilometers run each day. Kilometers run each day. Somebody's running a kilometer each day. So let's find out what we got as far as the actual kilometers is concerned. What's the first thing we're going to do? You got it. We're going to create our actual plot. Let's create this actual plot and get this going. Okay. And we have stem. And we have leaf. Okay, so we have the stem, and we definitely do have the actual leaf right here. So let's go with what we've got right now. Let's look at this actual section right here, and we're going to put everything in perspective and go from there. So we have the kilometers, and we're going to start out with the lowest number that we have. We were in the actual 2s. And so we're going to do 2, 3, 4. Make that 4 a little bit better. 5, 6. All right, so we have, of course, at least, and what do you have as far as the actual kilometers? Did anyone run at least 2 kilometers? Let's take a look at this as far as that. We have at least 2 kilometers. You got it. We definitely do. 2.0 kilometers. Do we have a 2.5 kilometers as far as that? Yes, we do. Now, what is one thing you all notice about this? We have points. So that basically means we have a decimal, and then to the right of that actual decimal is not quite a kilometer, but it's going to be a percentage of that actual kilometer. But we don't have to basically put the points on this right here. So as we put it 2, 0, and 5, we know it means 2.0 kilometers and then 2.5 kilometers. Very, very important. So remember that when you get to kilometers or you get to a sample like this, you don't have to put the actual period in there, which will give you the actual decimal. Okay? It is automatically assume that that is correct. So what is next? We look on our chart, and of course we have 3.0 kilometers, 3.1 kilometers, and 3.1 kilometers again, 3.5 kilometers, putting the 5 right there, and then we have 3.8 kilometers, and then we have 3.9 kilometers. Okay, so we're good with that one right there. Anything in the 4s? Let's see, because we're dealing with number 4 right here. I want to put a little underline on there so you'll know exactly what we're dealing with. And do we have anything in the 4s? I see a 4.5. Is there anything else? I don't think so. So 4.5 is fantastic. Now we're going into 5. We have 5.0, and we also have 5.6 kilometers. Now let's go, of course, into this the 6s, and now we have 6. I do see a 6.0 kilometers, and I do see a 6.1 kilometer, a 6.2 kilometer, and another 6.2 kilometer. So we just did our stem and leaf for kilometers, and that is question number 4. Good job. Let's go to question number 5. Good job on that. Excellent. Okay, let's go to number 5. And what are we dealing with as far as number 5 is concerned? We're going to take a look at it real quick. Number 5, display the data in a histogram. Now we're dealing with histograms. I love personally histograms, even though I'm not a great artiste. I still love them as far as that because it charts out things for you. And you look at it in a graph form, and you get a really good perspective of how things really look. So we're going to do the first one right here, and that is number 5. Let's go to number 5 real quick. And let me look at number 5. There we go. That's number 5. So we're looking at this right here, and we can see exactly how this one looks right here. It says display the data in histogram, and we're talking about soccer team goals per game, and the actual frequency. Very important as far as the actual frequency. Okay, how many times this basically happens, in other words. It's just that simple. All right, so let's take a look. First of all, what's the first thing we have to do? Let's make a little graph chart. So we're going to make a little graph chart, my version of one, of how it would basically look. And bear with me, but very simple. Horizontal and vertical. It looks like an L, so we know what this is all about. And go from here. We got the vertical, we got the horizontal. And we're now going to look at some of our actual numbers on this one right here. So the frequency would go on the vertical side. Okay, so let me get over here, and we're going to start from top to bottom. In other words, the highest number going all the way down to 0. 5, 4, 3, then 2, then 1, and finally 0. Okay, now we have, what are we looking at? It says goals per game, so we're looking at game 0 to 1. Okay, and I'm gonna put another one. Then we have games 2 to 3, but let's deal with 0 to 1 first. Okay, so it says 0 to 1 games. As far as that, they had a frequency of 5. So we're going to look at this right now. So we're going to go to this chart, and we see the 5 right here. So now we're just going to put a little box. We know it represents, it represents, of course, Ah, 0 to 1 games. Okay, and so it starts at number 5, and that's where it's at, in 0 to 1 games, as far as how many frequencies of goes. Okay. Uh, Now we're doing number. Let's see, goes per game, and that's between 2 and 3 games, and it was 4. So I'm gonna go down here, and we're talking about between 2 and 3 games. Okay, and they average 4. That was the frequency as far as that. So real good. I know how that looks, but you get a feel for it. All right. So the next one is what? Let's go down to it. It's between 4 goals per game, and we're talking about 4 to 5. The frequency in that one, wasn't that great as far as that. 4 to 5. We're looking at. Let me write that chart down for you first. 4 to 5, and we're looking at 0. Ooh, so nothing happened. No goals. Oh, wow. So let's take a look as far as that. For now, let's go to goals per game, 6 and 7, or 6 to 7. I'll put that right there. And we are going, of course, to look at this. And 6 and 7, 1 goal. So what we're going to do is make a little 1 goal box. So that represents 1, as you can see, going across there. Game 6 and 7. So this is how our actual histogram would basically look, the actual graph for the histogram. It would look like this as far as that. So as you can see, here's our goals, all the way from 5 to 0, game 0 to 1. You've got all the way up to 5, 2 to 3, of course. Games 2 to 3, we have 4 goals. 4 and 5, nothing. 6 and 7, 1 goal. All right, excellent. Good job, good job. Way to go. You all are getting them all right. I am really, really, really impressed with that. Okay, we're at number 6. What is number 6 saying right now? It says minutes practice. Minutes practice. What's the first thing we're going to do? Okay, we're dealing with a histogram again. So we are going to create our graph. You got it. Let's create our actual graph and get that going. All right, all right. I'm getting there. It's a little bit better. All right. Okay. We're going to start out with the number 11, because you can see right now, if we look at our actual numbers for number 6. Uh-oh. Let me get over here. There you go. Underline number 6. That's the one we're on right now. And it says frequency. The highest number is 11. The next to that is 10. Then we have 8. And then we have actually 2. So we're going all the way down as far as that. So I'm going to go 10. I'm going to go 9. I'm going to go 8. I'm going to go 7. I'm going to go 6. I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then of course 0. So let's take a look at this and see where we're at right now. So it says minutes practice. So for the highest number is 11. It says minutes that was practiced, of course. So we'll deal with that a little later. Let's go with the lower number. What is the lowest number as far as that? 0 to 19. Okay, so that would be the first one we're going to go with. Okay, so that one right there, I'm going to put right here, make a little chart right here. It's going to say 0 to 19 minutes. Okay, and we did that. The frequency was 8 times. Okay, that's pretty good. That's good. 8 times from 0 to 19. Way to go. All right, so we got that going. So let's go from 20 to 20. I'm sorry, 20 to 30, 39. Okay, so I'm going to erase this one. I put 20, but I'm going to put the right number. Okay, so that's 39. Let's get that going. So now we have to make a chart from that one right there. So from let's see, number 6, 20 to 39, 10. So let's go with that one. So I'm going to go up a little bit on this one right here, and you all can see what I'm doing. I'm not the greatest artiste, but I get the job done. You can see. So we're at the level number 10 from 20 to 39, okay? And you can see exactly where we're at. In 20 to 39, we're at level 10. So you can see the first graph, as you can see, and that's 8 from 0 to 19. And now the second one, from 20 to 39, we see it starting at 10. So I had to go up a little higher on that with the actual histogram and go from there. Now we're at what? Let's get this going. 40 dash 59. Okay? And from 40 to 59, we're at, let's see where we're at, 40 to 59. That's the highest we were talking about. The frequency is 11. Wow, that's 11 times they did that. Goodness gracious, way to go. So I'm going to start right there. I'm going to go all the way over here. We're at the highest peak, which is 11. I'm going to go down a little bit. I apologize. My hand is not steady today, is it? I'm going to go down. I apologize for that. But you get the feel as far as how the graph is looking. I think it is a legible graph, though. That's real cool. All right, so now we're putting in the range of 60 to 79 minutes. That's some great studying. Somebody got some great study habits. All right, hint, hint, you all. And that was done. Wow, they did that 2 times. So now you see the actual number, of course, 2. I'm going to go across here to be right at that actual level for that. And voila, that's where we're at. So that's number 6. This is how our actual histogram will look. And you all did a great job. I know you all got it all right. Keep doing great work, you all. You all are really doing great. Okay, we're at number 7. We are still dealing with histograms, and you all are getting an idea how they basically work. Excuse me. And you all get an idea of how they work, and that's really, really good. And let's go from there as far as this. This one right here says poems written for a class. The frequency. We see the actual frequencies, and they range all the way from 2 to 16. All right, so let's deal with our graph. We're going to go down first. I'm going to start sketching like this. How is that? I'll just go with a straight line. I think we'll be okay. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at this one right here. So our highest number is what? You got it, 16. So we're going to start out with the actual 16. And for this one right here, since everything, if you look at number 7, look at how number 7 is. Everything right now is really going by 2, so we don't have to go 16 all the way down to 1. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to go 16, 14. We're going by 2s. 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and then, of course, 0. Excellent. So that's how we're doing this one right here. So let's take a look at this one right here. Poems written for the class. And we're going to start out with, of course, 0 to 4, which is 6. And I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do a different way this time. I'm getting clever with this now. So we're going to go right there, and I'm going to put down here in that category 0 to 4. Okay. I know you all saying, what took you so long to do it this way, as far as going with the actual graph first and then putting the number at the bottom? I don't know. I mean, we got it now, so all is well. All right. So the next one would be which one would be the highest one? And that would be, of course, the next one, which is, of course, poems 5 through 9. Okay, let's get this going right here. So we got to go all the way up to 16. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I went a little dizzy on that one. I'm coming back down, and all is well. And this one right here is poems 5 through 9. Okay. We've got that poems 5 through 9. How's my 9 look? Okay, I'm going to do it a little better than that one. I apologize for that. Okay. Now let me get a real nice looking 9 for you all. That better? Excellent. Okay. So now we have that right now. So what's our next category? It looks like it is poems 10 through 14, and that was what? 4. 4 of them. So I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to come down right here. And that right there is 10 through 14. Okay. All right. And the next one we have is 15 through 19, and that was 2. So 2 poems. That's the actual frequency. And put that right here. And that right there is categories 15 through 19. All right. And then we have our last, which is poems 20 through 24. And the frequency on that is 2. You got it, 2. So I'm going to write that down right there. As we can see, that's 2. So it's the same as the other. And the one that's, of course, 15 through 19. And we have that 20 through 24. You got it. You got number 7 right. You all are doing excellent, 100%. I am really, really, really impressed. You all are going to be tearing these quizzes and tests up for this particular unit, and I'm impressed.